Hello, everyone. My name is Dee, and welcome to Books and Quirks. Today, I thought I'd do a little bit of a wrap up. I don't always do these, which is my fault. Um, I usually don't review books once I finish them, but I really have to get better at that. So, I finished three books last week, and I thought I would talk about them. So, the first one is one that I've already talked about a couple of times in my Friday reads, and that's 1984. This book is a dystopian book that was written in 1949 by George Orwell. Oh, and did you guys know that George Orwell is a pseudonym actually? His real name is Eric Arthur Blair, and he was born in 1903. Anyway, he wanted to explore, or I read this in the little preface. He wanted to explore the idea of when power becomes too much power and when government can actually control everything in terms of so that citizens don't have any privacy whatsoever. And actually, what I also thought was interesting, and I read in the preface, is he actually coined the term "Big Brother is watching you." Now, I've heard that phrase quite a few times in my lifetime, but I didn't know that he actually was the one that coined it, because that's "Big Brother is watching you" are basically is a slogan of this world, and it's on all the posters and everything around you, and it's actually true. So in this world, Big Brother, the government, is tracking your every move. There's nothing that you can do, there's nothing that you can say that is not tracked by the government. Everyone in their house has these screens so that Big Brother can watch you. And, even if you talk at your lowest whisper, everything that you say is recorded and analyzed. And it's just amazing, amazing world. So this book follows one man. His name is Winston, and he does something in the beginning of the book that goes against Big Brother. Um, and he knows he's doing wrong, but yet he continues to do it, and he feels like he starts to gain a false sense of security, a false sense of safety. Um, and it's just a really interesting book. Everything is controlled, so all of the information coming through media is controlled. And there are also people called the thought police that, they're the biggest part of Big Brother that really analyze everything you do and say and watch you. And if you say anything or do anything against Big Brother and they catch you, you're either killed or put into sort of a concentration type camp, a labor camp. Um, I just highly recommend this book. This was a classic that I hadn't read yet. I know I've talked about it in a little Friday read, so I'm going to stop talking about it now because I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. But I really think that this is an excellent book, and I'll definitely reread it in the future. The next book that I want to talk about is Hunted by Meagan Spooner. This was a book I recently finished, and I had said that it is a dark retelling of Beauty and the Beast. Now that I finished it, I can see that it is. Through half of this book, the first half of this book is very dark. It's not your Disney fairy tale, but the last half of the book is very sweet and very like the fairy tale. I don't know. It's just very heartwarming. So this book follows a young girl named Yeva. Yeva is 17 maybe, or maybe she's even 18, a young woman. Um, and she is, she lives in a very wealthy household. She lives with her two older sisters and her father. And through an event at the very beginning, they lose their wealth and they have to move to sort of a hunting lodge and make their living off the land. And Yeva's father goes missing, and she's very much a tomboy. Yeva, She adores her father, adores her sisters, and feels a sense of responsibility and wants to find her father. Um, and in doing so, she encounters this beast. There is sort of a folklore about this beast that exists deep in the woods, and nobody can ever catch him. Nobody can ever kill him, and very few even set their eyes upon him. Um, the only one, and Yeva's been told this story by her father since she was very, very young. So she is determined to find her father and to find this beast that she thinks might have killed her father, because it's now been months and he hasn't returned. So this book I actually really enjoyed. My only complaint with this book is that everything happens really fast. This is a standalone. It's only a little over 300 pages. 360 pages. So it's 360 pages. And in this book, a lot of time passes. I think from the beginning of the book to the end of the book, there's about a year and a half of time that passes, or at least a year. But in this book, even though the author told you that time has passed, I didn't get that sense that time had passed. And things just seem to happen really, really quickly, especially at the end. Now, I did enjoy the end. I love anything having to do with Beauty and the Beast. I'll read anything, any retelling there is about Beauty and the Beast. But that was my only complaint. So I did really enjoy it. I gave it 4 to 5 stars. Um, if you enjoy Beauty and the Beast at all, I think that you will really enjoy this book. Just know going into it that the first that parts of it are very, very dark and very different from what you're used to. But I think that I was so happy by the end of it, even though I felt like things were a little rushed, and you couldn't feel the time passing, even though you were told that time had passed. So, yeah, definitely loved this book. And the last book that I want to talk about that I picked up randomly is Talented by Sophie Davis. This is actually an indie author who I met at BookCon in 2014, and she signed this copy. But then I put it aside and I never read it. I'm so glad I did. This is a YA fantasy slash dystopian. So in this world, a couple of generations back, or a few generations back, there were several nuclear meltdowns across the nation, and many people died, of course, but people that didn't die, their children started to have these special sort of abilities. Um, you know, kind of like some are mind manipulators, some are light manipulators. There are just so many different talents. Some are like shapeshifters, can morph into different kinds of animals and birds and things like that, and can sometimes also shapeshift into another person. So it's really interesting. It kind of reminded me a little bit of The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken, but it starts to get very different really quick. So it's not the same story at all. Talia's parents, when she were young, were murdered by the Coalition. The Coalition is this group that is against anybody that has these talents and wants to eliminate these talents and suppress these talents. But for some reason, she was left alive, and now she wants revenge against the person that killed her parents when she was young. That's really all I can say. I'm so happy I picked this up. This is like a 7-book series. So this is the first book in the series. I did get the second and third as ebooks on my e-reader, so I hope to get to those soon, but I have other priorities at the moment. But yeah, those are three books that I absolutely enjoyed. I thought I'd tell you a little bit about them, even though you had heard about a couple through my Friday reads. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all very soon.